Have you ever wondered why certain people appear in your life at the exact moment you need them most? Some call it coincidence, others call it timing, and some believe it's fate gently nudging two lives toward each other. Today, I want to take you into a film that explores this quiet, beautiful idea through the lives of two ordinary colleagues, Rio and Hayashi, two individuals who never expected their paths to intertwine in such a meaningful way. The film opens with a soft, warm tone, nothing dramatic, nothing overwhelming, just the steady rhythm of everyday life. Rio is introduced first. She's gentle, thoughtful, the kind of person who always listens before she speaks. Her work life is thriving. She's dedicated, responsible, and respected by her peers. But behind her calm smile, the film subtly hints at the lingering weight of repeated disappointments in her personal relationships. It isn't that anything catastrophic happened, just the quiet loneliness that comes from giving her best and still feeling misunderstood. And the movie never paints this as a flaw. Instead, it offers a compassionate look at how many people feel this way at some point in their lives. Then comes Hayashi. He's cheerful, approachable, the type who can brighten the office just by walking in. Yet beneath his humor lies a gentle sincerity shaped by his own past experiences. He isn't perfect, no one in this story is, but he carries a steady kindness that feels grounding. Although he doesn't talk about it often, he too has known the ache of connections that didn't last. Not because of blame or wrongdoing, but simply because life sometimes leads people in different directions. The film doesn't rush to bring them together. It allows us to observe them separately, first how they work, how they move through challenges, how they mask their vulnerabilities with small smiles. Everyone carries quiet chapters inside them that others rarely see. And it is this shared humanity that sets the foundation for what comes later. Their connection begins not with grand gestures, but with small, almost invisible moments. Passing each other in the hallway, exchanging brief smiles during team projects, offering to help with a workload during a busy week. These scenes are presented with a softness that feels genuinely human. Nothing forced, nothing overly scripted, just two people gradually noticing each other through the natural rhythm of daily life. The film gently reminds us that sometimes the simplest acts, listening, offering kindness, acknowledging someone's presence, can become the starting point of something meaningful. Instead of portraying loneliness or uncertainty as negative states, the film frames them as opportunities for growth, reflection, and connection. Rio and Hayashi aren't searching for someone to fix them. They're simply learning to understand their own emotions more deeply. And in doing so, they unknowingly prepare themselves for the meaningful bond that is about to form. There comes a moment in every meaningful relationship when two lives, previously moving in parallel, begin to gently shift toward each other. In this film, that moment arrives not with fireworks or dramatic revelations, but during something as ordinary as working late on a weekday. Rio and Hayashi find themselves among the last people remaining in the quiet office. The fluorescent lights dim to their evening glow, the air calm in a way that softens even the busiest thoughts. Hayashi is the first to suggest grabbing a quick dinner before heading home. It isn't framed as a bold gesture, just a simple invitation, one colleague to another, offered with the same easy kindness he always carries. Rio hesitates for a moment, not out of discomfort, but because she's not used to being invited into someone's personal space. Yet there's something genuinely reassuring about Hayashi's tone, and so she agrees. It's a decision so small on the surface, yet it becomes the turning point of the entire story. Their dinner is portrayed with remarkable subtlety. No dramatic music, no overly staged dialogue, just two people learning to slow down and speak honestly for the first time in a long while. Rio shares a little about her past, never in a heavy or painful way, but with the honesty of someone who's learning to accept her own story. She explains how she often tries to be supportive in her relationships, yet still finds herself feeling unseen. Not because anyone intentionally ignored her, but because she never learned how to express her emotions clearly without worrying about being a burden. Hayashi listens with genuine attention, and when he speaks, he shares not advice, but understanding. He talks about his own challenges, how he often hides behind humor because he doesn't want others to feel responsible for his struggles. He mentions moments when he wished he had spoken up more, communicated more honestly, or trusted someone with his thoughts. Two people discovering that they don't have to pretend, that being understood is not something to fear, and that vulnerability can be a quiet strength rather than a weakness. The film uses this scene to highlight an important truth-authentic connection. Begins the moment we allow ourselves to be seen just as we are. After that evening, something shifts in their daily interactions. Their conversations become a little warmer, their smiles a bit more natural. They begin noticing each other's small habits. Rio's tendency to focus deeply when she works. Hayashi's habit of humming softly when he's concentrating. They don't rush into anything or make any declarations. Instead, they continue showing up for each other in small, consistent ways. When Rio feels overwhelmed with a project, Hayashi offers help before she even asks. When Hayashi has a long day, Rio brings him a warm drink from the break room, placing it on his desk with a kind smile. These are small gestures, but they carry weight because they're rooted in genuine care. The film uses these moments to teach an understated but valuable lesson. Relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or somewhere in between, grow through presence, not performance. It reminds viewers that the most meaningful bonds often form not through dramatic events, but through the steady kindness we offer one another. Not the excitement of tension or conflict, but the kind that comes from watching two people discover that connection. Trust and empathy can make even ordinary days feel extraordinary. As Rio and Hayashi's bond grows, the film transitions into its most emotionally layered phase, not dramatic in a traditional sense, but thoughtful in a way that gently deepens everything we've seen so far. The moment when two people begin to realize that their connection is no longer just a pleasant coincidence, but something quietly transformative. And like all meaningful transitions, it arrives through the subtle unfolding of everyday moments. Rio, who has always carried a calm exterior, starts to notice how much lighter she feels when Hayashi is around. It's not the kind of sudden spark often shown in movies. Instead, it's the steady warmth of being understood, something she hasn't felt in a long time. Hayashi, on the other hand, begins experiencing a different kind of shift. He has spent years being the upbeat, reliable person others lean on, often without sharing much about his own feelings. Yet with Rio, he finds himself opening up naturally. What makes this section resonate so deeply is that the film never exaggerates their vulnerabilities. Instead, it treats them with dignity. When Rio admits she sometimes fears being forgotten, Hayashi listens without judgment. When Hayashi confesses he occasionally doubts his own worth, Rio reassures him with quiet sincerity. Their conversations illustrate the power of empathy, not as a dramatic cure, but as a steady practice of compassion. Meaningful relationships are built not only on shared happiness, but also on shared reflection. They talk about their goals, not in a grand or ambitious way, but with the honesty of two people discovering their own hopes alongside someone who genuinely cares. Nothing sensational happens. Instead, the emotional drama lies in the realization that two people who once walked separately are now walking in step gently, steadily, and with growing trust. Their connection isn't defined by romantic declarations or instant certainty. It grows through kindness, shared experiences, and the quiet courage to let someone in. Rio and Hayashi slowly realize their connection has deepened, not through confessions, but through small, steady kindnesses. A cup of her favorite tea, his quiet presence when she struggles, shared walks and peaceful silences all reveal how much they've come to value each other. Rio grows more confident with his gentle support, while Hayashi learns to express himself through her honesty. Their bond strengthens not with drama, but with patience, empathy, and genuine appreciation. In recognizing how naturally they bring out the best in one another, they understand that what they share is no longer simple familiarity, but meaningful companionship. In the end, Rio and Hayashi choose to walk forward together gently, steadily, and with gratitude for the connection they discovered. Their story reminds us that true happiness often begins with empathy, patience, and the courage to be genuine. Fate isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's simply two people learning to understand each other. And through that understanding, they grow, heal, and build a kinder life side by side.